Bryan Kohberger's trial was supposed to bring answers. 4 students murdered, 1 man arrested, a mountain of evidence. But just months before it all begins, the case is cracking open again. In May 2025, something happened that could change everything. A national TV special aired details no one outside law enforcement was supposed to see: phone records, internet searches, and evidence still under seal. Now the defense is pushing back hard, accusing the media of tainting the jury pool, demanding a full delay, and even floating a shocking new theory. What if someone else committed the murders? The judge, furious, he's ordered an investigation. He might bring in a special prosecutor. And the trial? It could be moved, delayed, or even collapsed under the weight of leaked secrets. This isn't just a legal update. It's the beginning of a courtroom war, one that might decide not just Kohberger's fate, but whether justice can survive a media storm. In November 2022, 4 University of Idaho students, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, were found dead in their off-campus home in Moscow, Idaho. The crime shocked the nation. There were no immediate suspects. But weeks later, a key clue, a knife sheath left at the scene, led police to Bryan Kohberger, a criminology PhD student at nearby Washington State University. Investigators tied him to the crime through DNA, cell phone data, surveillance footage, and a white Hyundai Elantra. He was arrested in Pennsylvania in December 2022 and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. Kohberger pleaded not guilty. His trial was scheduled to begin in August 2025, but now everything is up in the air. On May 9, 2025, NBC's Dateline aired a 1-hour special on the Idaho student murders. But this wasn't just another recap. It featured sensitive details that hadn't been made public by the court. The episode revealed Kohberger's alleged Google searches for serial killers, images of college-aged women found on his devices, precise cell phone data placing him near the victim's home multiple times, and even behavioral analysis from sealed investigative reports. According to court records, much of this information was still protected under a gag order, meaning no one involved in the case was legally allowed to release it. The defense immediately accused the media or someone inside the case of leaking confidential evidence, which they say could corrupt the jury pool and undermine the entire trial. The result? A legal mess and the biggest shift in this case since Kohberger's arrest. Just days after the Dateline episode aired, Bryan Kohberger's legal team filed an emergency motion in court asking for the entire trial to be delayed. Their argument was clear. The leaked information created prejudicial publicity. Potential jurors across Idaho had now seen evidence that hadn't been admitted in court. Proceeding with the trial as scheduled would violate Kohberger's constitutional right to a fair trial. The defense also claimed they still needed more time to examine recently disclosed evidence, complete their investigation, and review the credibility of the leaked material. Their filing didn't just ask for a delay, it hinted at the need for a full reevaluation of the trial strategy. And for the first time, they floated a new and controversial possibility: that someone else may have committed the murders. With the trial just months away, this was a bold move and one the judge could not ignore. In response to the defense's motion, Judge Steven Hippler didn't hesitate. He ordered a formal inquiry into the leak, marking a serious escalation in the pre-trial battle. The judge demanded that both the prosecution and defense identify any individuals who may have accessed or released confidential information featured in the Dateline broadcast. Key concerns included: who provided access to sealed investigative material? Was the court's gag order violated? And could the leak be traced back to someone directly tied to the case? Judge Hippler stated that if necessary, he was open to appointing a special prosecutor to investigate whether any parties involved had intentionally or negligently allowed protected evidence to reach the media. The inquiry is ongoing, but its implications are massive. Because if the leak came from within law enforcement, the prosecution team, or even a witness, it could impact what evidence is admissible at trial or worse, delay the proceedings indefinitely. Since early 2023, the court placed a strict gag order on the Idaho student murders case. That order barred attorneys, law enforcement officials, investigators, and anyone connected to the case from sharing details with the media or public. The goal? To protect the fairness of the upcoming trial, to prevent public opinion from interfering with legal proceedings, to stop leaks. But after the Dateline episode aired in May 2025 featuring sealed evidence, the gag order is now at the center of a legal storm. If someone under that gag order leaked case details, it could mean contempt of court charges, fines or sanctions, or even the exclusion of leaked evidence from the trial entirely. Worse, it could force the court to move the trial to a different jurisdiction or delay proceedings for months while the leak is investigated. The judge has made it clear, if the gag order was violated, there will be consequences. And for a case already under national scrutiny, it's becoming increasingly difficult to tell where the courtroom ends and the media spotlight begins. As part of their motion to delay the trial, Bryan Kohberger's defense team introduced a new element. A claim that someone else may have committed the murders. It's the first time the defense has publicly floated the idea of an alternate suspect, and it's already drawing attention. They haven't named anyone specifically, but they've asked the court for additional time to investigate this possibility, implying that new evidence or testimony may have surfaced that points in another direction. Legal experts say this is a strategic move. It shifts the focus from Kohberger to reasonable doubt, suggesting that rushing into trial could prevent the defense from fully exploring leads that haven't yet been made public. Whether this theory is credible or a legal tactic remains to be seen. But what's clear is that the defense is no longer just preparing a defense. They're building a counter-narrative. And in a case already shaken by leaks and controversy, that narrative could change everything. As if the Dateline leak wasn't enough, the defense is now bracing for another wave of media fallout, this time from a true crime book set to be published just weeks before the trial begins. According to court filings, the defense has expressed concern that the book may include additional leaked investigative details, editorialized accounts of the murders, and even statements from unnamed sources close to the case. The book is scheduled for release in mid-July 2025, right before jury selection is set to begin. Kohberger's attorneys argue that the timing of the book's release could further prejudice potential jurors, create a media frenzy that drowns out courtroom facts, and violate the gag order if any contributors are tied to the legal process. They've asked the court to consider the book's impact when ruling on their motion to delay the trial, suggesting that public interest will spike again just as the jury is being chosen. In their words, the combination of the Dateline episode and the forthcoming book poses an immediate threat to the integrity of these proceedings. And with national headlines reigniting, it's not just a trial on the line. It's the court's ability to separate truth from content. As of now, Bryan Kohberger's trial is still scheduled to begin on August 11th, 2025. Jury selection is expected to start in late July, just weeks after the release of the controversial true crime book. But the timeline is fragile. The court has not yet ruled on the defense's motion to delay the trial. The judge is still investigating the Dateline leak, reviewing potential gag order violations, and considering whether new publicity could derail jury selection altogether. If the court grants the motion, the trial could be postponed by several months, moved to another jurisdiction, or conducted with a sequestered jury to shield jurors from outside influence. Kohberger continues to plead not guilty to all charges and faces the death penalty if convicted. Until a formal ruling is made, the legal teams and the public are left waiting. This trial isn't just about evidence anymore. It's about timing, publicity, and whether a fair trial is even possible in the digital age. A delay in a high-profile trial like this isn't just about picking a new date. It means resetting the entire legal timeline, and it could push proceedings well into 2026 or beyond. Here's why. The jury pool is now compromised. The defense argues that the Dateline episode and the upcoming book have reached millions of potential jurors in Idaho. If the court agrees that the jury pool is too biased to proceed, it may order a change of venue, extended jury screening, or a fully sequestered jury, rare and expensive. The leak investigation takes time. If a special prosecutor is appointed to investigate the leak, that process could take weeks or months, during which the court may halt trial prep. New evidence could surface. The defense's claim of an alternate suspect may lead to new subpoenas, witness interviews, or discovery disputes that must be resolved before trial begins. Pretrial motions could multiply. The defense is likely to file more motions, including to exclude leaked evidence or suppress specific testimony, all of which take time to argue and resolve. In short, the longer the media storm continues, the harder it becomes to guarantee due process. And for the families of the victims and the country still watching justice delayed is starting to feel like justice at risk.